Taoiseach. Minister, I want to ask you to give detail of the current communication plan when it comes to engaging with public representatives, members of the community around the provision of bypass accommodation, an issue that really has been lacking, caused a lot of concern and anger in community. So you might outline what is the current communication plan when it comes to provision of accommodation.
For the question. Ireland and many other European countries continue to experience a significant increase in people seeking international protection. The arrival numbers remain significantly elevated. In the first 23 weeks of 2024, over 9,000 people have arrived in Ireland seeking accommodation from the state, averaging 394 people per week. This is more than 5 times the average for the period 2017 to 19. Government is working to ensure an integrated approach to communications and community engagement and to deepen the understanding around all aspects of migration in the Irish context. Communicating with local communities and the public at large requires a series of multifaceted approaches. I understand a national communications plan is being developed and led by the Department of Taoiseach. My Department of Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth has responsibility for community engagement. As Deputy will be aware, a community engagement team has been established to engage directly with elected representatives, relevant local authorities, local development companies and other entities and individuals. The purpose of the team is to improve the flow of information regarding arrivals into areas and to help equip local communities with the accurate information required to help them understand the current situation and to assist with the welcome and integration process for new arrivals. This team has been operating since October 2023. It consists of a national lead on civic engagement, 2 additional team members to support the on-the-ground engagement and a small administrative team. The CET is activated for openings which need additional support. The openings which the team support can also be selected if requested by a public representative or a local community leader and it's deemed appropriate. It is acknowledged that different sites will have different requirements, and this approach, while offering a standard process for engagement and communication, can be adapted depending on specific circumstances. To date, the CET has issued 79 detailed briefing notes to stakeholders and has actively engaged on 52 open or proposed accommodation centres. The work of the CET is supported by a whole-of-government approach, engaging with sectors and providers nationally and locally to respond to some of the issues raised by local communities.
Well, thanks, Minister. It doesn't really answer the question. It probably raises more questions and more concerns about a comprehensive communication plan, which you seem to bat over to the Department of the Taoiseach. And this is something I've raised consistently, the need for a proper and comprehensive communication plan. Something we were told was being worked on 12 months ago. It was supposed to be brought before Cabinet back in February, and we're now being told by you, Minister, that this is still being worked on by the Department of the Taoiseach. So we need clarity here. There is a communications plan or there's not. As I see it, there is no communication plan. There's no plan, full stop. But the critical part is engaging with communities, and that has failed and failed dismally. Public representatives have been lied to in terms of the provision of bypass accommodation, given half-truths, mistruths and total untruths. Communities feel abandoned in terms of the lack of communication. It's one thing coming in retrospectively to tell them what's happening in their community, but that engagement needs to start from day one, and that is seriously lacking. So is there a plan, yes or no, at any level, at the Department of the Taoiseach or at any level?
I really want to push back on your assertion that people are being lied to, or being told mistruths and untruths. It's very problematic, and frankly, it feeds the people who are spreading lies. What you said is simply not true. When we have information that's available to share, we share it. These are fluid circumstances. Sometimes circumstances change in terms of capacity, in terms of what the provider is able to do, in terms of what we're able to tell people as well. There are fluid circumstances. We have unaccommodated people who are trying to move as quickly as we can. The problem with that is that when we tell people information as soon as we can, the process can change. Because we're telling people information early, the situation very often changes. If we were to wait until everything is lined up and perfect and done, it would be weeks into the process and we'd be accused of not telling people early enough. The fact is we are telling people early, and the reason that people are not getting everything that they want is because it is at an early stage, and we can only tell people a certain amount when the process has started.
Minister, the lack of a comprehensive communication plan is fanning the flames of hate and resentment being led by right-wing people out there exploiting the vacuum that you and this government have created, because you are not putting out the accurate information. And we see that there was an analysis carried out on foot of a recent protest carried out by Sky News. 56% of the online content originated in the US, 20% in Ireland, 10% in Britain. There was no counter strategy there from the department, from the government to counter that. And yes, public representatives, I'm being lied to and have been lied to by the department in relation to the provision of accommodation, where bulldozers were on the site in my constituency, stripping back topsoil, putting down hardcore, and I was being told, and members of the community were being told, no decision had been taken in relation to that specific site. I have a role, I want to play a role in bringing communities with us. But when that information isn't there, when there is no comprehensive communication strategy with communities or public representatives, it makes my job very, very difficult, if not impossible. And that's a failure of this government and the Minister.